What's going on, guys? My name is Drew. This is Okonski News, and let's talk about the news. This is Okonski News. My name is Drew Okonski, and since this is the first episode, I want to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown, a little bit of background on me, and what you can come to expect in the future episodes of Okonski News. At the time of filming this, 22 years old, and I am passionate about staying informed. Being informed, especially in today's day and age, is one of the most important things that we can do. With noise coming from here, there, and everywhere, it's important that we get correct, unbiased information, and then we can make our judgments based off of that. So that's what I'm going to be striving to do here every week on Okonski News. There may be a focus on one topic or another, shifting from episode to episode, week to week. Here in week one, we're going to be talking a lot of video games. We're going to be talking a lot of video game news, basically because for the last 2 months up here in Massachusetts, we have been in quarantine under stay-at-home orders and, reduced everything and that. So I have been playing a lot of video games. That's what's been on my mind a lot. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. I don't know why I stood up. This week in Okonski News, we are going to be starting off talking video games, and this week in video games, there's no bigger news for me than the release of Terraria 1.4. Now, Terraria 1.4 was released on May 16th, 2020, and is touted as the final official release for Terraria, which came out 9 years to the date before the 1.4 update had been released. For me personally, to grow along with this game, I first started playing this game when I was in middle school, and now that the final update has been released, I have been having a ton of fun playing the game with some of my lifelong friends, my roommate, and we have just been having a blast. We've been losing a little bit too much sleep basically every night since the game has come out, but it's been really nice to be able to spend some time. Okay, I think the trash truck is gone, but I'm out of coffee. Yeah, I did put a mask on to go to my kitchen to get some more coffee. And to catch up with some of my old friends. I could say it over and over and over again. It's just been an absolute joy. Terraria is a game that it's deceptively simple. When you look at the game, especially when you boot in for the first time on a new character, it's got vibes that are very similar to Minecraft. It's got that you spawn into a world and you need to build a base and you need to survive. But as you play more and more of the game, you start to peel back some of the layers, and just to see how much there is going on with the different bosses and different items and different mechanics and the accessories and the NPCs and the town system and the pylons and everything. There is a lot that needs to be kept track of, and it's been a joy to go back in. I haven't played the game in a long time, so to get into the gameplay loop of Terraria again has been an absolute pleasure. I also have been playing a little game released last year from a game development company, or rather a game development studio, called Bend Studio, and that is Days Gone, the PS4 exclusive. Released originally on April 26th of 2019, Days Gone, developed by Bend Studios. It's an open world game set in the continental Northwest United States, specifically in Oregon. You play as a man named Deacon St. John, who is a member of the Mongrels, biker gang. This infection or whatever swept through and infected everybody, basically turning most of the population into zombies, and it turns into an open world zombie kind of thing. I was very hesitant to play this game at first because in looking at it, the horde mechanic in Days Gone looked pretty interesting, but other than that, it looked very open world game. If that makes any sense, just a game where there are some outposts on the map that you need to take over and different side quests, and it just felt like that formula with a different coat of paint on it. So I wasn't super excited to play it, but at the end of April of this year, so about a year after the release, the game went on a super sale. It was on sale for $20, and I told myself that if I could find the game for under $30, that I would play it. I just didn't think that I would get that $60 of worth out of the game, so I waited until it went on sale, got it for 20 bucks. And I've since finished it, and to go over briefly my thoughts on the game, I enjoyed it. Graphically, it was absolutely beautiful, and I can only imagine how much better it would have looked if I had played it on a PS4 Pro, but the game just felt a little bloated to me. I think that the systems in place were good, and that if you could get into a rhythm, that you could find yourself playing for a little while, but I think that if 5 to 6 hours had been shaved off of the game, that it would have been better. It felt like there was a lot of content in there just to make the game a little bit longer, that it wasn't super relevant to the main story beats, that there was some main story content that really felt like side content that you had to do. So if they shaved 4 to 6 hours off of the game, I think that my overall perception of the game would have been better, but you know, it wasn't, unfortunately. Overall, I did enjoy the game, and if you can find it around a similar price point in the $20 to $30 mark, and you like open world video games, I think that Days Gone is something that you will enjoy as well. And once I finished Days Gone, with the recent announcement of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which we will be covering on another show in the future, I did some retrospection in my relationship with the Assassin's Creed franchise, and that led me to remembering that I had never actually completed the main storyline for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The moderately upsetting part about that is the Valhalla announcement slash trailer release slash whatever you want to call it happened in the middle of my playthrough of Days Gone. So basically, the latter half of my Days Gone playthrough I spent actively with the thought, how long until I finish this game? I want to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And that also might have contributed to my opinion of the game. Maybe if I didn't spend half of the game ready to play something else, I would have had a different opinion on Days Gone, but you know, that was my first playthrough and I can't change it now that it's over. But I started playing through Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and if you thought Days Gone was a little bloated, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is the video game definition of bloat. There is just so much side content in the game that eventually becomes mandatory through there being a fair bit of grinding that needs to be done to advance in the main story quest lines. And just doing the same bandit camps and rummaging through the same caves and you know, doing these fetch quests over and over again, just at different spots in the open world of Greece that Ubisoft gave us with Assassin's Creed Odyssey gets old. After a while, I'm only on like level 12 or level 13 in the game, and I'm already kind of starting to feel a little bit of fatigue, and I know that there's a lot more of game ahead of me. So that's originally released on October 5th, 2018, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I don't know if I'm going to finish it, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like I said, I'm already starting to feel fatigue in my playthrough, and I haven't even hit that first big wall where the main storyline progression comes to a halt. So, I guess we'll see what happens there. I'll keep you guys updated, and like I said, we will be discussing AC Valhalla on a future episode of Okonski News. And then a couple quickies before we shift topics from video games. I wanted to talk about Dauntless because I've been playing a ton of Dauntless lately. Update 1.2.3 came out, I think it was 2 days ago when this is going to go up, on the 20th is when the update came out. I'm not going to be breaking that down on today's episode. I think in the next episode we're going to be talking about Dauntless, what it is, what this new update has done, and things like that. And also, before we shift topics, I want to talk about Valorant, the tactical shooter from Riot Games that went into closed beta on April 7th. If you don't know, the way that you would gain access to the Valorant closed beta was actually through a pretty smart marketing strategy that Riot put into place, wherein the only way to gain access to this closed beta was by earning a Twitch drop from certain Twitch streamers. So it just filed so many people into the Valorant directory. When the closed beta first went live, I think they peaked around like 1.5 million people watching in the Valorant directory, which was absolutely insane. The game, I played a little bit of it. The game's been fun to play, but they just announced today, the day of filming this, that the game will be officially released globally, worldwide, for everybody on June 2nd, 2020. Now, when Valorant was first announced, before it even went into closed beta, there was a scheduled release date of summer 2020, but they announced today through their socials that Valorant will be releasing globally on June 2nd, 2020. So super excited for that. I'm excited to see what it does for the tactical shooter space, for the esports space. Just very excited to see what Valorant does and what Valorant becomes as it grows after this June 2nd launch. And to wrap things up here today, I want to talk about some real life news. Obviously, we are here at the end of May in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, not only here in the United States, specifically for me here in Massachusetts, but everywhere around the world. And before I start talking about any of this news, I just wanted to say that anybody watching this, I hope that you're staying safe. Listen to the CDC guidelines, and hopefully we can be on the other side of this sooner rather than later. We are still under quarantine slash whatever guidelines here in the state of Massachusetts. It's been just over 2 months now. Charlie Baker, our governor, announcing the restrictions on restaurants moving to takeout and delivery and the closing of non-essential businesses and things like that. It was March 17th through the 18th, maybe it was the 16th, sometime around there, so it's been about 2 months. Governor Baker originally announced that there would be a reevaluation of the guidelines on May 18th, which was just a couple days ago. And just a few days ago, Governor Baker announced a plan for reopening the state of Massachusetts. And now that's not just May 18th when the guidelines were supposed to end, boom, everything's back to normal, whatever. That is not how things are working here in this state. Now, I'm going to leave a link in the description to an article from NBC News Boston that if you wanted to get some more detailed information rather than the synopsis of it that I'm going to give here in Okonski News, you can go down to the description and check that out. But basically, it's a phased reopening wherein phase one, things like office spaces, labs, and I think some various retail businesses are able to open immediately on the 18th. There is going to be some stuff happening on the 25th, which is Memorial Day, right? I believe that includes houses of worship, and there are also guidelines where, again, social distancing still needs to be respected. Sanitation standards, need to be met for certain things, and that's phase one. Phase two, then, I believe includes the opening of restaurants and some other things. Like I said, there's the link to that news article and probably a few others down in the description. Is not necessarily dependent on a certain date. It's the way that Massachusetts is handling its reopening is based on the coronavirus testing numbers, and as I don't remember the exact specifics, but as long as the testing numbers and the number of deaths meet a certain criteria, we can reopen more of the state. So it's good to see that Charlie Baker is taking what seems to be a more responsible approach to the opening of Massachusetts, not buckling under the pressure of we need to do this and we need to do this now, and that it seems to be happening in more of a responsible way and a method in which I hope that more of the country could follow suit and not be so brash as to open things too soon to possibly lead us to another spike in cases, and that wouldn't be good. Also, as far as real life news, I'm going to be moving from Massachusetts soon. I don't have concrete details as far as what that entails, mostly because I'm just bad at planning things. But like I said, I'm going back to Pennsylvania here in a few days to get all of that ironed out. And as soon as I have more details, I will share them with you. All right. That's going to be it for this episode of Okonski News. If you guys enjoyed, let me know down in the comments below. You can hit that like button, and if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel. I plan on having more of these episodes of Okonski News at least once a week for the time being, coming in the future. I just really want to get back into the swing of making stuff. Like I said, we've been in this quarantine stay-at-home thing for like the last 2 months, and I just really want to start doing something again rather than just sitting around most of the day. So let me know what you thought down in the comments below, and stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.